On the air? All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the November 2024 edition of the Garden State Java User Group, and welcome to everybody out in there in TV land. I'm the chef of the future. Anybody gets that joke, okay? Just tell me. Or that reference, I should say. But in any event, let's get started. Yeah. That's a good one, Barry. I like that. Yeah. Okay, so our usual agenda is, we thank our sponsors, of course. We talk about what's new, and I'm going to introduce Rajiv. And then after his presentation, I'll come back and we'll do the usual upcoming events, and for us and for some of our friends of the Garden State Jug. So with that, our gold sponsor is Payara, and they make an application server. There's the micro, there's the regular server, and they have a cloud offering. And if you're interested, we have a bunch of stickers on the table over here. So we thank them for their support. And then Azul is our silver sponsor. They are open or downstream distribution of OpenJDK, includes the coordinated restore at checkpoint, otherwise known as crack. The jokes write themselves. But yeah, so we thank them for their support as well. And we partner with DevNexus. And this is an annual conference held in Atlanta, Georgia every year. This will be held on March 4th through 6th next year. And some of us who've submitted abstracts are still waiting for an answer or whether or not we've got accepted or not. So we're fingers crossed. But and then our per meeting sponsors are JetBrains. Of course, they're the folks who make IntelliJ IDEA and some of the other great IDEs that they offer. And then the Eclipse Foundation and Jakarta EE, they offer Crowdcast hosting that we haven't used in a while, but it's there for all the Java user groups for that. And that's a great thing that they do for the Java community. So appreciate that as well. We have memberships in the Jakarta EE ambassadors, the microprofile working group, the Jakarta EE working group, and the virtual jug. So we participate in all those activities. Who the heck are these Jakarta EE ambassadors? Well, we used to be the Java EE, notice I said Java EE, guardians. And this goes back to 2016 when Oracle was sort of dragging their feet, sorry guys, on getting Java EE8 out. So anyway, we're an independent grassroots group of folks committed to moving forward Jakarta EE. So I'm in the Leadership Council, and we've been meeting once every other week. We talk about conferences, all that good stuff, and just Jakarta EE advocacy. So, and then, yes, happy second birthday to Ambika. Yeah. Those of you who know one of our leaders, Nehar Sardana, her daughter's birthday is today, and she's 2 years old. So happy birthday to her. I hope you're out there, Neha. Oh, okay. Somebody said right here after I asked that question. JDK 24 is scheduled to come out in March of next year. And a lot's changed over the last month. There were about 4 or 5 JEPs or JDK enhancement proposals. There's 19 now. And this already breaks the record of 17 from JDK 11 and JDK 16. So I'm not going to go through them, but that's all 19 of them right there. I'm still waiting for structured concurrency because that'll be a 4th preview. And there was a 3rd preview in JDK 23. Anyway, that's the release schedule. On December 5th, the feature set is frozen. And that's pretty much firm. There was one exception to that, recently, over the last couple of years. And then you'll see March 18th is the final GA release of JDK 24. Jakarta EE11, there's been a bit of a delay because of some refactoring of the TCK, or the Technology Compatibility Kit. However, the Open Liberty 24.0.0.11-beta filed for a compatibility certification request for the Jakarta EE core profile. So they can get that started, and they hope to have everything released by the Jakarta 1 conference, which I'll tell you more about later. You can look at these at your leisure for nullability. there's this new initiative called Specify, and there's some pretty good stuff in there for Java developers. And then these are the new specs. There are 16 of them for Jakarta EE11. And for those of you who've been here, you've seen this. I have a random number drawing I wanted to share with everybody on how we choose our winners for the IDEA license. So, okay, that's enough of that. So I'll come back later. And I want to introduce Rajiv. So I met Rajiv back in June at the New York Java SIG, and he was interested in meeting with us. So this is great to have him join us today. So Rajiv is a seasoned enterprise architect with over 25 years of experience in architecting, designing, and developing high-performance applications for banking, airline, and e-commerce industries. He is very hands-on and actively codes in Java, Scala, Python, and Spark. Pretty nice, well-rounded set of languages there, yeah. And works with machine learning, databases, big data streaming, such as Kafka and RabbitMQ, containerization and cloud technologies. He has 25 plus IT certifications, including 7 from Oracle, and was invited to prepare the test materials for the Oracle Certified Enterprise Architect exam. And you ought to get together with Mr. Scott over there, unless you probably know him already. So, but in any event, yes, without further ado, Rajiv, thank you. We look forward to your presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I work for principal architect for GridGain, and we are in-memory distributed data grid. So I'm not sure how many people knows about distributed data grid. And also when I'm going through the slide, I don't like to be like a presenter where people may fall asleep and don't get it. So anytime when I'm going through the slide, if you have any question, feel free to stop me and ask any question. So that will allow you to stay continuity with the remaining slides. So by the way, just raise your hand if you don't know what is in-memory database. So that way I can give some background.
Don't or do. Don't or do.
Don't.
Don't.
If you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody knows? Nobody's raising hand. Oh, you don't know? Okay. Sorry? People who don't know what is in-memory database, raise your hand. Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure that if you don't know, I can give you a background before going further about my product. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'll just first give a background and then go through the slide. So typically, whenever someone develop any application, they use some programming language, such as Java, C++, Python, Scala, and something. And then they use a database to persist their database. That will more or less fulfill their performance requirement, or I would say functional requirement. But when it comes to non-functional requirements, such as you have developed your application, their application support 100 concurrent user, and it takes 2000 millisecond round trip. Now your business comes to you and tell that, hey, our business is growing fast. Instead of 100 concurrent user, we need to support 1000 concurrent user. And instead, our competitor has a much better response time. So now response time needs to be reduced from 2000 millisecond to 500 millisecond. So it means that they want 10-fold increase in a concurrency and 1/4 of the round trip. So what normally people try to do is that they try to change some business logic here or there, or they try to normalize or denormalize tables in a database, or remove different indexes. That may give them a little bit performance gain, like 10 to 30%, but it will never allow them to reach such a high level of concurrency. That is where in-memory database come in a picture. So what is in-memory database? Any traditional database, if it is RDBMS, such as Oracle SQL Server DB2, or no structured data, NoSQL database such as MongoDB, Cosmos DB, or others, or cloud database such as Aurora, Redshift, and others, or data warehouse or data lake. It could be Hadoop, Redshift, BigQuery or anything, all of them store their underlying data in some level of file system. So when someone tell you that, hey, let me create the Oracle cluster. So what it does is that it just create the more processes, but still in underlying system, it store data to the same file. And I means I spend more time with the financial, so I may give more financial example. So think about it. You have a trading platform, and nowadays everybody trades, so they will understand easily, right? So you have a trading platform, and what they have done is that, hey, they have created few underlying file system for the Oracle database, sake of using one particular database. Now, what they are observing is, hey, sometime when multiple users come, they get 500 millisecond round trip, but sometime it takes 2000 milliseconds, even though it's the same number of user. So most of the time, developers start scratching their head, or DBA starts scratching their head, that why it's possible. It's same number of user, but different response time. And reason behind that is that when someone has created that Oracle database, they've created distributed their data in, let's say, 4 different files, or even I've simplified that, 26 different files. So all A's to one file, B's to another, C's to another. Now, in certain time, if there are, let's say, 26 concurrent user, each one is asking for a different alphabet, they get real true parallelism, because each one goes to one file system. But in another scenario, let's say today is the Amazon result, Apple result, both, and that's the highest volume. So it means that the maximum number of users are looking for same alphabet. So their file system become a bottleneck, and that is causing the problem. And most of the time in a database, when they create, nobody creates 26 files. It's like one or few files. Means Michael can tell that he has enough experience. So that is the challenge over there. So what product like us do is that we store a data in a RAM. So right away, the first bottleneck of any file system is gone. Second, just as a law of physics, RAM works 100 times or even much faster than file system. So that is the second benefit. The third one is that our products scale vertically and horizontally. So it means that as load increases, you can just add additional partition, and it provides true parallelism, because the data is stored in a RAM. So there is no underlying bottleneck. You got the idea, or any counter question for this explanation? You got it. Okay. So that is the reason product like us used for any high performance application, such as most of the financial application use us for the pre-trade, post-trade order management system, compliance, and many more. American airline, right now, whenever someone is booking anything, it just goes through product like us. Then there are railroad companies, telecommunication company. So whenever they need high concurrency or low latency, that's where they start using our product. The second benefit is that traditionally, when you are developing application, you write, and this is Java user group, so I'll focus on Java. So you build your Java application, then you use middleware such as Tomcat or something to deploy your application. And then normally in most of the enterprises, the database is always in a different subnet mask. There are like more than one firewall in between that. So there is a network latency over there. Even though you write a stored procedure, you can write very minimal logic over there. You still need your Java application. Whereas product like us, which is written totally in a Java, so what it allows you to do is that it allows you to run your business logic co-located with your data in same JVM. So now if you know like hardcore Java, the way Java works is that when you have a two processes, two Java JVM processes, when you want to send or receive a data, it needs to serialize and deserialize. So you take your Java object, convert to the bytes, send the bytes over the stream to the another JVM. It takes that byte, convert to object, and use it. So there is an overhead over there. But if you have your Java objects running in same process, you avoid that. Second one, if you have learned basic of Java, there is a concept of reference by object and reference by pointer. So when you have objects in a same memory space, you are doing the pointer reference. It means that you are not recreating objects. Whereas when you have a same object in a different JVM space, you need to literally move the objects and recreate in that memory space. So that is additional overhead, and then you need to keep recreating that. So those are some high level benefits. Is it clear? Okay. Yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
Question?
I mean, the memory on a single node should be limited, right? I mean, do you do some sort of partitioning?
That's excellent question. So our product scale vertically and horizontally. So what it means is that based on a amount of memory you have it, one of the customers, they are using 768 machine to distribute that data vertically and horizontally to match their load. And it works exactly same. So you could have, we have a customer who has like a 1 terabyte machine, or so you have another customer who you have a 100 terabyte, sorry, 100 GB of 10 machine. It behaves same, because now the only difference is that now it has to go through the NIC card. So whatever the network latency you will get through the NIC card reduction, that's additional one. Otherwise, behavior between JVMs would be same. So our company was founded in 2010, and what we have done is that we also have our open source version. So if you have ever heard product called Apache Ignite, that is being donated by us. And there is a large number of users who is at least using Apache Ignite, and we are the contributor to that. Here is just subset of list just to give an idea that why in-memory database is important, because if you see, all financial companies are the major customer, but we also have a presence in many other domains. Nowadays, we are observing that a product like us needs to be used in many different domains. And here are the example. By domain means technology domain, not the business domain, such as in AI. That's very commonly used. So anybody who ever used Databricks or Apache Spark, that's amazing ETL product. But one of the limitation of Spark is that it always create immutable data set. So if I give a simple example, let's say you write a job where you need to load world's population. So it means that you are loading around 8 billion records. Now you found out that there are only 10,000 incorrect record. So first of all, to load that 8 billion record, you need, normally I observe that it takes like a 1 MB, like 1000 KB per record. It means that you need 8 billion megabytes of record. It is extremely large amount of servers, memory footprint, and loading time. Now, just to reload that 10,000 records, there is no feature available. So it means that first what you do is that you delete all your data set and data frame and reload it. So there will be a heavy amount of garbage collection over there, large number of recomputation over there. So what we have done is that we have integrated our product to Apache Spark. So it means that normally when you load a data, normally Spark is just one piece of puzzle. It allows you to do the machine learning, data loading and everything. But there are always transactional applications which use their data. So give an example. There is one of the machine learning model called K-means cluster. So, and someone wants to write a automated trading system. They load large amount of historical data, come up with the model, and then deploy that model. So what it does is that based on that model, when you receive any price, send that current price feed to model, and model will give you 0, 1 or 2. It means that based on current price, you should buy it, you should sell it, or don't trade it. So when you want to create this full application, if you don't have a product like us, then what you have you have a Spark machine learning model, create the model, then load that data to the some type of Hadoop or file system, and then when your real-time transaction come, you go over there. So it means that there is an additional latency and bottleneck. Secondly, whenever you update your model, still there is no real-time connection, because your transaction application and your analytics application are running separate. Whereas what we have done is that we have created trans analytics platform. So when you write any logic in a Spark, we have extended data set and data frame. So it means that there is an additional method called save to grid. So after you load the data, you store it to our in-memory database. So when your transaction application comes, it has all that data readily available. Second, when you store that data in our product, it automatically becomes mutable. So it means that when you have that 10,000 record, at that time going through the Spark route, you can just have a simple Java application just to fix that data. So that will help you to fix that data in much faster manner. Second, which is application acceleration. So one of the example I explained earlier, such as all airline, banking application, all of them has an existing application, but they want acceleration over there for reduce the round trip, provide the high concurrency and scalability. The third one is operation analytics. So what we have observed is that once you have a data, nowadays people are still using warehouse such as Redshift, Snowflake and other, but that is good only for the non-real-time reports. But whenever they have a real-time report where they are generating from Tableau, MicroStrategy and others, that's not efficient. Because what happened that whenever you try to load data from any data warehouse, there is a very heavy process, like a bicycle versus plane. Like if you want to go to south route, plane won't work. Same way in a Redshift or other, they have a concept of data node and compute node. So even if you need a file record, you are starting compute node each time and bring the data. So it's not efficient for the small set of data. So what customers are doing is that customers are using our product in between their BI product and data warehouse. So in data warehouse, they have a year's worth of data, but they know that for particular application, they need only 30 or 60 days worth of data. They just load it to our product, and then we provide out-of-box CDC, like change data capture. So if anyone updates any data in underlying data source, we keep data in a sync. So always their reports are up to date. So that is another common use case we have seen across the customer. The next one is edge computing. So what we have seen is that we have many airline, railroad and other customers. So on a day-to-day basis, we have observed many times that whenever we buy any item from and then we receive a notification from UPS or others, even if you think about the guy who come to fix your cable service or other, we always receive tags that, hey, he will be available in this 4-hour range. The reason behind that is that they don't have a sophisticated real-time reports in back. And that is the reason they are not able to provide appropriate time frame. That is fine for the individual people, but it doesn't work for the large institute. Such as if PepsiCo is sending large amount of container to ShopRite or anywhere else, what they want to do is that they want to get more accurate data, because they need to hire large amount of employees to unload that data and load the data. It means that there is a cost associated with it. Also, on top of that, they are running stores. So if you ever observe that when you go to Shop and Stop or any other places, normally for us, the working hour is, let's say, morning 7 to 11, but most of those stores are running 24/7. So what happened is that from 11 p.m. to 7 p.m., they are racking and filling their racks. So it means that they need a very good accuracy that, hey, 11 o'clock, they will start racking their stuff. So they need to have items available by 10:30. So as soon as it closes for regular people, they have their stuff available and they can optimize their guys who is ready to do that. So for those type of thing, they are using our product. So that way, from edge computing, such as from train and plane, it's received the real-time notification about their location and all same ways as trucks, and give a better estimation to the retailer that when their goods will arrive. And Internet of Things. So nowadays, as we all know that one of the reason Tesla has an extremely high PE ratio, because it's not a car company. It's an AI company. Because if you, means I don't know how much you guys follow the stock market, but if you see the PE ratio of General Motor or Ford is nowhere near the Tesla, because Tesla is not counted as a car company. So, and what they do is that they have a largest amount of data in compared to anybody, because whenever someone is driving, every single data point is recorded over there. It's like beyond, and that's why they value so much. Like the way they may be making money out of that data is much more than selling a car.
Are you saying that Tesla sells where its customers are in their cars at all times?
I'm not telling they are selling or not, but they have
But
that
they collect it?
information.
But they collect that?
Oh, absolutely. It's all income. What you do, it's all there, right? Like I don't want to go in that part because I'm not a legal expert. So whatever you have signed over there, but they have to capture that data, then and only they will give a, and that's one of the reason what I was hearing the CEO of some of the insurance company, and what they were saying is that this is like 2 years back. They were telling that any kids born in a current year, out of that, less than 25% of the kids will ever have a license, because by that time, most of the car will be automated car and they don't know how to drive. And right now there is one of the Indian company called Reliance, and the owner of Reliance is like one of the world's richest with $100 billion. And Facebook's data center is over there. And one of the reason they are saying that they have so much amount of data that these guys are making money out of that. And periodically, if you read, you will see that, hey, different government is suing large companies such as Google and others, because they capture so much amount of data and selling it. Facebook came up with the same thing. Even if you Google it, there was one of the event where Congress brought CEO of Facebook, Zuckerberg, over there for grilling. And one of the question he asked, very simple question, that where were you staying yesterday night before come here? And he wasn't answering. And then senator start grilling that. You don't want to answer that where you were staying yesterday night, but you are capturing so much information about user. How ethic you are. And you can Google it and you can see all these videos over there. So there are so many incidents where we are giving so much information without even knowing. If you just go to your Facebook, there are so many places where you can disable and they will stop capturing the information. The point here is that amount of data they are capturing and the calculating is enormous. So they need extremely high process computing resources to get the best result out of it. I'll give another simple example. Let's say when you are driving a car on a highway and you are passing by, let's say, exit 5. And if you are literally 1 or 2 miles away, at that time, you get a notification that, hey, here is the Macy store and they are running 70% discount. There is extremely high probability you will take that exit because nearby your home, you don't see that type of thing. And to get that accuracy, basically, if we just think about in a highway, we drive average at 60 miles. So it means that in less than 2 minutes away, they need to start notifying. And it's not you. There are thousands of cars at each exit. So it means that over there, you need extremely high process computing and real-time processing to get best money out of prospects. And those are the things where product like us come in a picture. Another benefit of our product is that people nowadays, everybody says that, hey, why we need any individual company? Why we cannot go to the cloud and you will find everything. That's true. You will find everything over there. But as most of the senior person knows here is that one of the biggest challenges is that once you have more than one technology to develop your product, when production problem happen, you spend more time convincing vendor that this is your problem than fixing a problem. And when you have when you have a cloud, you go to the cloud and you have 10 different technologies over there. And when you will have a problem, you will just scratching it or banging your head on the wall to just convince a vendor or cloud product that, hey, this is your problem and help me fix it. Versus product like us, where you will get, we are solving multi-dimension problem. You have one neck to chalk to solve your problem. And here is the highlights of our product. And what we are trying to depict here is that as part of our product, we provide ACID transaction. And why it's important? Because any transactional application, they need certain requirement, such as when you have a bank account and when you do any type of deposit, there are always a two transaction. It has to debit from one account and credit from one account. So it means that if it doesn't give a full two-phase commit, it means that both record needs to be committed or both needs to be rolled back. Otherwise, if it's doing partial transaction like debit from one guy and not credit from another, or credit in one and debit from another, it will create major problems for that bank. So that's the reason transaction is very important factor. And even though we are an in-memory product, we provide full transactional support. Second, even in a transaction, there are different type of transaction isolation level, and we support most of them. The next one, what it means by row or columnar store. So traditionally, whenever you want to write any write intensive application, and if you are using underlying storage as a row storage, it will give you the best performance. Whereas if you have a read intensive application, in that scenario, your columnar database gives the best performance. So what we have done over the year is that internally we have a both storage available. So when you design your application, at that time you do appropriate annotation at top of your Java class, and that will give you best out of both breed. So as far as you know that if you are writing the read intensive application, try to use our columnar storage. If you are writing the write intensive application, go with our row-based storage without worrying about buying two different database products. The third one is a co-located computing. And that goes back to my original point, is that as a part of our product, we allow you to write your Java application, business logic, and store your data in the same memory space. And that will give additional performance boost to you. Now, traditionally, when you use any databases, it's only support more or less SQL protocols such as JDBC or ODBC. So it means that when you are writing your Java application, what you are doing is that you write a prepare statement, and then from prepare statement, you create the result set, bring the data in the result set, and then loop through and create your Java object. So underlying what it's doing is that you are requesting to your database goes to the file system, load the data, store it in a proprietary format. It could be Oracle, SQL Server, or whatever. Then send it, convert to binary, send it over wire to your Java application. In your Java application, you have now Oracle's JDBC driver. That Oracle's JDBC driver take that data, came in a proprietary format, convert to the Java object. Now you are looping through and use it. Whereas we provide native Java API. So it means that when you create your Java object, there is a method in our product called gridgain.write, and you are writing your Java object as is. So it means that when you do read and write, there is no conversion of SQL protocol required if you want to use your native API. Same way. Wow.
Wait, you got to repeat the question. Hold on, here I come. There you go.
So you effectively ODBMS, object-oriented database.
So ODBMS?
Object database.
Yes, object relational database. Yes, our product is an object relational database, and it supports multiple protocols. So if you still want to keep using standard SQL protocol, it's available, but we have a native support of Java, .NET, C++, and other API. Also, that goes back to your question, that we support in-memory partition vertically and horizontally. So now when you have a multi-table, such as when you are doing trades in equity and options, so it means that you have one table called equity trades and second table called option trade. But when you want to calculate your net risk, you have to combine the position from both, such as you have a 100 Amazon, but then you have sold covered call for Amazon. So it means that your 50 delta is reduced. So your net position is a 50. So now one of the important feature our product provide is affinity key. So when you are creating the table for option trade, at that time you can define that, hey, option trade dot underlying symbol is equal to equity trade dot underlying symbol. So what it allows you to do is that it stores your all Amazon's equity and option trade in the same memory space. So when you do multi-table join, it doesn't need to go across multiple JVM and bring in back and forth the data. And this particular feature doesn't exist in our competitor. Now, normally people have one of the common question I've observed across multiple customers is that, hey, your product is an in-memory product. So it means that some of the feature provided by database, how you are meeting. So as part of our product, we provide scalability, which goes back to the answer I mentioned, that we can scale vertically and horizontally. That provides linear scalability, which is not available in a standard database. Second and foremost important is the high availability, because when you are storing a data in a RAM, everybody knows that process goes down. So what happens in case if any of your JVM process goes down? So as part of our product, we provide in-memory redundancy. And what we do is that we always run primary and backup in a two different physical machine. So it means that not only your process, but if your whole machine goes down, still your backup is there, and our cluster manager makes sure to assign the responsibility of backup to primary. So it means that it avoids any type of degradation in performance or any pauses. You are absolutely right. That
Can
is
you
also
configure the
available.
number of backup copies? I'm just copying.
No, good point.
Report for for
Yeah.
YouTube.
So yes, our product allowed to run multiple backup. That is also not possible in many of our competitors. So based on how many nines you need, you can define how many backups you want. Interoperability. As our products support multiple API, one of the feature is that you could have C++ application writing the data and Java application reading the data, or vice versa. So whereas traditionally, if you want to write that type of application, you need to write COM bridge, where you need to worry about buying third-party product and do the conversion. That all overhead is on our shoulder. You don't need to worry about that.
Do you have like a custom customization using regular Java?
No,
One more time, please.
You're gonna have to run a lot to me not today.
I think leave it to him.
Do you use a custom sort of custom serialization capability format or something?
Yeah, we support that, but we always use the most optimized serialize like Cairo and others. So that give you the best of possibility. Because what we have observed is that once people will start using custom serial, they don't know enough about product, and instead of getting a benefit, they may lose it. And I'll give another example. It goes back to the sponsor, Azul. Azul has one of the world's best JVM. It's called Not Stop the World JVM. So what we do is that we also work with high performance hedge fund and banks to integrate with Azul and other JVM to get the best out of JVM, which is beyond programming language. The next one is a security. So as a part of our product, we provide role-based access control, TLS, SSL, and other security mechanism. Durability. So even though our product is an in-memory database, we also provide the underlying persistent system. So we have many scenarios, such as we have a customer who want to load 7-year worth of data from their data warehouse, but they know that the 90% query is using 60 days worth of data. So it doesn't make financial sense to load all 7 years worth of data in a RAM because it will be extreme infrastructure cost. So in that scenario, what they do is that they store only 60 days worth of data in a RAM, whereas remaining data in a persistent system provided by us. So it means that when customer makes a query, if they make a query for 60 days of data, it's lightning fast. But they do for more days, still it's better than database, but not as fast as RAM, but they get the much better return on investment because that's only for 10% of queries. The second one is that because of our persistent system, we have a many customer, when they load a large amount of data from underlying database, it takes hours from them because it's a combination of manual and automated process. So it means that whenever they need a data from multiple data source, they need to communicate with different DBAs to get the data and then receive file and upload it. Whereas in the maintenance window, if they just use our persistent database, the feature we provide is that first of all, it's extremely fast upload to our grid. And second, we have a concept of lazy loading. So it means that within a matter of seconds, they can bring the cluster up, and first time when customer asks for request, it goes to our persistent and bring the data. So it means that as application process it, it's keep loading the data. Only first request would be little slower, but all other requests would be faster, and their maintenance window would be extremely small. Next is observability. So as we are providing this product with so many features, we also have a web-based monitoring tool and access tool. So what it allows you to do is that it allows you to showcase all different JVM on which node they are running, what data it is located. And one of the major differentiator here is that when you go to our web-based tool, you can see number of partition. Not only that, it showcases that on each partition what data reside. That's not available in any database such as Oracle or anywhere. In Oracle, you won't know that how many clusters are running and where data is located. So from our web-based console, you can query for particular partition. Also, it helps in a troubleshooting. So let's say we have a customer who is running 768 machine, and there was a scenario where they observed that whenever someone makes a query regarding the zoom or Z symbol, they were seeing the delays, whereas not for other symbol. So what they did is that they went to our web-based console, and then from there they easily able to find out that where there's Z related stocks are loaded, find out the node, and found out that that particular node has a problem with a NIC card, and that's why only that node was behaving incorrectly. Whereas if you have a same problem with traditional database, it would take maybe hours and days even to figure it out that what's the underlying root cause. As we are in a market from many years, we have customers who are running our product on-premise, on bare metal and VMware. Also, we are deployed on a cloud on regular EC2 instance, Docker images, Kubernetes, and also we provide our managed services. And we have a full support and integration with all major Kubernetes implementations such as AKS, GKS, and others. Another differentiator here is that what we have done is that now people are bringing data to our product. When you are using some of our competitors, one of the common problems they face is that stale data, because if someone goes and modify underlying database, there is no way for them to keep the data in a sync. Whereas we provide out-of-box change data capture. So it means that if any customer connect to underlying database and update the data over there, automatically we keep the data in sync between underlying database and others. And as our product is used as a source of truth, whenever they insert any data or update or delete any data, we are continuously but asynchronously and fully transactionally update the data in underlying system. So that gives assurance to them that no matter how data is written and where data is written, it's always in a sync. Here I have explained that this normally it's a case for the RDBMS and other SQL supported database, but now we also have a partnership and we are providing that feature for different mainframe data sources such as DB2, vSAM, IMS, Adabas, and other database. And for a young generation, there are no colleges which is teaching COBOL. So if their company is using mainframe, there is no way for them to know that how to bring a data. So product like us give them a full facility to use the mainframe data without knowing those legacy languages.
Sorry. How do you know that data in the underlying database changed? Do they use some sort of trigger or something to do that? Or
Yeah, so what we do is that basically we have a partnership with them, with another company, and they have a mechanism. So in a simple language, what database does is that the way database work is that whenever you write any data to the database, it writes to the transactional log. And what we do is that we hook into the transaction log. So it means that without adding additional load to your database, we get triggers from that. And if you want to know nitty gritty, I'll give a specific example of DB2. So in a DB2, the way I do is that using MQ, I create the trigger. So whenever there is a data change, it write that data to MQ. And from Java application, it listen to the MQ queue and do the updates. So if I have to write everything manually, this is how I design. But we want to provide scalability. So we also use third-party products, which are our partner for the non-relational databases. We have many customers who are using our product for a sync from the messaging system, such as Kafka, RabbitMQ, HornetQ, and other messaging. Because messaging system is really good for the messaging purpose, but not good for the ad hoc query. And that's why they use our product as a data storage. And as part of our product, we have this major addition. Our community edition is totally free. So if you want to try it out, or if you have any use case, use our community edition. And if you want to buy support, you can also buy support for that. Community edition is totally free, just like IntelliJ. You can use it, but if you want to just buy support, you can do it. But if you have a mission critical application, if you need any of this feature, you can go to our enterprise edition, or if you want full feature, then you can go to our ultimate edition. So start here with a free, and then you can upgrade based on your business needs. Here are our major products and services. So one of the major differentiator here is that we provide 24/7, not only email, but phone support also. And we have our own dedicated professional services team in case customer wants to do the implementation. Or for our partners, what we do is that we allow them to sell their professional services so they can make money over there. Because our primary business is selling our product. Here are some of the common use cases we have seen. For the risk management, it's been used to execute complex mathematical model and from multiple data source. So another common use case we have seen is that company use us for the data hub or digital integration hub. What it means that in certain enterprises, they have data loaded in multiple data sources. So there are two ways to use that application. You can write an application, and from application, each time when you need a data, you go individually to multiple data sources, bring large amount of data to your client application. So it means that you need very thick JVM, and then runtime, you do the joins. So it means that there will be heavy performance penalty. Whereas what customer do is that they use our product as a data hub. So it means that they create appropriate data model in our product. Upfront, they load all their data in our grid. So when your application needs the data, it avoids the multi-table join, and it's readily available in memory. And using the CDC, which I explained, if there are any changes happening to underlying database, it continuously update that data model. So that allows their application to run extremely faster and avoid runtime joins. The transactional application, which is used by the airlines, banks, and many more. And here are some of the customer associated with this type of application, like this finance application, all different banks and brokerage firms. Smart Decision, FICO, which is a scoring company, everybody use it or need it. Airlines, retailers such as AutoZone. Real-time transaction, again, more by trading firm and brokerage firms. Low latency 360 view. So in this one, what it does is that now you have data located in so many different data sources, but when they want to get the 360 view of customer, they use our data hub architecture and provide the 360 view at much faster pace. And I think that's it for the presentation. But if you have any question, feel free to ask me.
Here we go.
Thanks, Rajiv, first.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Have you taken any photos? Have you taken any photos? Yeah, thank you.
So the last Java talk we had, we were talking about, somebody can remind me, I'm forgetting the company, but we were talking about data types and data types suitable for AI. And I'm old in that I think of this stuff in terms of CPUs and SQL, but aside from CPUs, there are GPUs.
Right.
And there are also these new NPUs running RAG things, putting together this stuff on the fly. So I didn't really think about this before you put that slide up. But I presume, and I haven't looked into these other AI databases, which I know are popping up. But can I do an AI database in GridGain?
So yes. So right now, basically Spark already has a machine learning model, and we have many customers who are running their machine learning model on our product. AI also, you can run it. And what we are doing is that we are also adding the feature called vector database.
Right.
MySQL.
Exactly.
And they had the recent version of MySQL has something called a vector that you can put into.
So
but it really doesn't have vector search, which
exactly. It's like right now, specifically, and that's one of the reason in a stock market, everybody says that AI, but how many people are able to monetize it? Right now, it's more of okay, new fancy or shiny toy than the user.
Are you in the same place as MySQL where you have a vector data type, but no means of searching for similarity?
So we not in that, but we will have a full feature vector DB available very soon.
Yeah, just like MySQL.
Yeah, and that is the reason we don't want to just come up with a partial thing, because then it's not usable. Like you are putting the stuff, but you are not able to take it back.
Well, you can take it back as a vector, but the idea is for AI, you have documents with vectors in them, and you want to find the ones that are similar to the vector of your query.
Exactly. So it will be there in a soon, but not as of today.
Yes, I asked on YouTube if anybody.
Yeah, anybody had any questions for Rajiv?
So going once, going twice.
Thank you
So-
Rajiv.
Yes, there's from Edward Savage, yes. Thank you, Ed, for joining us tonight. And how many people do we have online out there in television land? We had 4 at least. Okay, cool.
There were more.
There were more, okay, yeah. I was just watching the chat. So any other questions? No? Okay. With that, I have some closing slides.
Yeah,
So
please.
if I can,
Oh,
there was a
Someone
question?
on YouTube is asking
Ah.
you to put the raffle entry link up again.
Oh, it's for you.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think we. Oh, you know what? Yes, I have to dig that up. I will do that in the chat. And this way, yes, I'll double check that. Okay, do we have a different, oh, there we go. Ah, perfect. All right, good. All right, thank you, Rajiv, first of all. And,
Yeah, you're
you
welcome.
know, in my time at ExxonMobil, I worked in a laboratory and we did an infrared spectra processing. We had a model and any newly acquired spectrum would be analyzed against that model for various properties, you know. So back in the day, and we're talking like 30 years ago, we had an N by M matrix, which was the absorbance as a function of wavelength. And, you know, all
Large set,
that
right.
large set, and it was imported into MATLAB. But MATLAB is very powerful. And I'm not trying to minimize, you know, but
No.
this is the way we did that, right? And then we used the singular value decomposition function to create the 3 matrices. you know,
Yeah, and
what we needed. But
And that's a very good point. And what we have observed over the year is that, because I'm in 9 years just in this industry, we come across so many companies who have created their own custom cache.
Mhm.
And then once they start seeing our product, because most of the time what happens that when you create that, it's not scalable, because
Right.
once you go from one JVM to another JVM, then you need to write extreme amount of custom logic,
Mhm.
and then data movement would be a problem. Whereas here it provides out-of-box distributed data grid, and sharding goes back to his point, and that's a very good advantage.
But I mean, this was specialized, right? Just
I
for that
agree with
purpose.
you,
But the thing
absolutely.
is, I can see, and the reason I'm telling you is I can see how this would have been useful back then.
Exactly.
You
You
know,
are right.
for processing all that spectrum.
Absolutely
you know,
true.
doing the modeling. But
Yeah.
but I was a big fan of MATLAB. I was.
No, I know that this is still used very well.
Yes.
MATLAB is still one of the best products.
I had to give up my license when I retired, but
Okay.
yeah, right. Like,
That's a good one.
all right, so let's just try to wrap this up. Upcoming events. I just heard about this today. Stephen, and I forget his last name at the moment, but he sent me that this morning. It's Java On. It's not Java 1 without the E there. Okay. So, all right. It is Java On, and it started today. And it's 3 days. It's virtual. I believe it's free. So if you're interested, you can check that out. QCon San Francisco is next week. And I will be out there serving as a dedicated reporter. So I'll look forward to that.
There is Java 1 in.
Yes, there is Java 1 in March, right? Which is not coming up. Jakarta 1 is a virtual conference. This is the 6th year or something like this. And that's a virtual conference, and that's on December 3rd. And I learned that my one abstract was accepted, so I'm pretty happy about that. So, but yeah, so, and then the virtual Payara conference is on December 11th and 12th. There's the URL. There's the poster. So there's two tracks. On the 11th is Strategic Insight, and Developer Insight is on the 12th. And then you can see the talks here. This was updated. They made a few changes, so I was able to get those updated talks. You notice here, there's the Java User Group Spotlight. The Garden State Jug will be one of those. So that should be fun. Look forward to that. The J Champions Conference is Thursday and Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and this is the January 23rd through the 28th. Barry, I know you're on the steering committee?
Yep.
I was on it last year. I didn't do it this year. I submitted a talk though. So, and then DevNexus, of course, I mentioned that earlier, is March 4th through 6th in Atlanta. And the hotel where everybody stays is right by the Centennial Park. So that was kind of fun to see that. Java 1, there's that one. That is March 18th through 20th in California. It's south of San Francisco, I believe. And this will be the 30th birthday of Java. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of celebrations there. I think Barry and I have abstracts submitted for that, right? Don't we? So, and then QCon London, if you're interested in seeing, the UK, it's April 7th through 11th. My passport is in the works of getting updated, and I'll be there for that as a dedicated reporter. So, all right, upcoming events. So, I mentioned in my email this morning, we just found out, and everything happened so fast with this, that Bruno Sousa and Vinicius Sanger will be here in the United States, and they'll be speaking at New York on Tuesday the 19th, so that's next Tuesday, but they made time to come by us on Monday. So I'm going to try to check in from San Francisco since I'll be there. So this is 2 times in a row Bruno's come here and I can't be here, but I think he does this intentionally. But anyway, so those are the 2 talks. This one is different. The Bruno's, both of them are different from when they were here last year. All right, and then Amol Gote will be here next month on December 10th to discuss digital signatures decoded. And then Scott, who's sitting back there, hi Scott, is going to talk about certified Java, everything you ever wanted to know about new features in Java 21 and were afraid to ask. And when when it comes to short titles, we didn't get one from Scott. Oh, that's right. Yes, I remember you said that. Just do certified Java, and that's it. So that's on Tuesday the 14th. And then we're trying to fill February at the moment, but we do have a tentative date of March 11th for Ken Rimple. He was formerly of Chariot Solutions and is now with Honeycomb, and he wants to talk about open telemetry and Spring Boot. So that ought to be fun. I don't think we've had any observability talks here at all. So it's tentatively the 2nd Tuesday. Just waiting to hear back if he's available, which is kind of perfect timing because DevNexus is the week before and Java 1's the week after. So that's that. And our friends of the Garden State Jug. This is tomorrow night. Brian Benz will talk at the Philly Jug. And we have Eric D'Andrea talking at the Boston Jug on Thursday. Okay. Cracking Java Snapshots. I love that title. Pashka Finkelstein will be at the Atlanta Jug on the 19th. Grace, yeah, well, the thing is, it changes it into uppercase when you use the H5 tag for some reason. So the A is lowercase, right? So, and then the ing should be lowercase. But anyway, there's a lot of talks happening next Tuesday. So, and then Jennifer Reif is in Chicago next week. And then Dmitry Choiko, you may remember him from back in August. He'll be speaking in Chicago. And then, as I mentioned, Vinicius and Bruno in New York next week. The Developer Career Master Plan was the one he presented last year. So, all right. And thank you very much, first of all. And there's our YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. And we would appreciate that. I don't know what's left for pizza, but please finish it. And any leftover soda. Rajiv, thanks again for coming out tonight. And yeah, thanks everybody for coming out. Safe travels home, and we'll see you, well, virtually for me next Monday. Thanks.